Welcome back. I'm Martin, and today I'm really happy. You see, Nikolaus arrived, so he is watching over me. And just before going online, I had the video call with Chris Houston. We just recorded the invitation for the annual Christmas holiday collab that we're doing even this year. It's the fourth time that we're organizing this. Be patient, guys. Be patient. Once this live stream is over, I will edit that call so tomorrow we can go online with that. And I hope that really, as always, a lot of you will participate in this. We have a very interesting theme for this year. So I guess there is a little bit of everything for everyone. I'm really excited about this one. We do have, as always, prizes from generous sponsors that are supporting us. And there's another surprise too this year. So yeah, you will see all of this tomorrow. So if someone should be already in the chat, please let me know that you can see me, that you can hear me, that everything is fine. Because today I will host something, let's call it a little masterclass, if you will, about film scoring. My attempt to the last train clip from Andreas Dormann, and how I made it to score everything within one day. It was one working day, and as you can maybe already see, I will switch cameras pretty soon. There is a lot sound design going on, noises, background noises, foreground noises, that stuff. And then even if it doesn't really look like, even music wise, there is at the end of the day a lot of stuff going on. There are lots of thoughts behind this. Hey Steph, nice to see you. So now I do have a problem here. Why do I have a problem here? Because I can't see the chat really. This is strange. Give me a second to sort this out. Oh no, okay, no, it was enough to scroll. Okay. That's it, because I don't need to see myself, I just need to see the chat. So I would really like to explain the story behind my score. You know, there wasn't any direction, so everybody could go in the direction he or she wanted. I will tell you the why, and even the how precisely I could be so quick, because when we started this whole thing, there was right away a comment from someone telling, hey, come on guys, 2 weeks is not enough time. Yeah, it depends on many things. And so I suggest let's do this. I will switch scene so you see what's going on my screen. I will put on the headphones, and hello everyone. Of course, if you have questions, just ask them. This is why I decided to do it in a live stream, so we can even have an open discussion. We can discuss with each other, and I thought, if I would like to compress all this in a video, then maybe some important information would be lost, and even the editing and all that stuff is time consuming. So I preferred to have it as a live stream. So when I saw those visuals the very first time, of course, I had no idea. Like none of us had any idea. I just saw that guy running up the stairs, and the first thing that I had in mind was really something like, the Bourne Ultimatum or James Bond or whatsoever. Just an action movie, someone trying to catch that train for what reason ever. And then pretty quick, everything inside of me changed, because I saw that guy sitting there. Then he was asking if there is someone, so I thought it might. Whoa! Haha, there he is, Chris Houston. Chris, so good to see you, and I already spoiled that after this live stream I will edit the call that we just had 1 hour ago, where we will invite our wonderful, beautiful, creative community to this year's annual Christmas holiday collab, and it will be exciting this year. It will be, you will know by tomorrow. So, there's this guy then sitting on the bench, and thinking about it, and then someone told about, yeah, you missed it again and the last train and that stuff, and then you saw, you know, the mom and dad, and this is where it hit me. This was the precise moment where it really hit me, because some of you might know that 3 years ago my mother passed away, and it was really from one day to the other. It was really just, you know, she went to the hospital because she had a stupid fall at the subway. So she was that autonomous. She still, you know, took the subway to go to doctors. She went to the hospital. My brother phoned, yeah, she's in the hospital. She had this accident. She was even quite angry that she fell again and that stuff, just like my mother was. And then the next day he phoned like, whoa, there must be some complications. You know, she lost consciousness, and the next day she was dead. So this is just really like a free fall. You're not prepared for this. Really, you're not prepared. And for me, this was some kind of a last train. And this is why I changed many things in my life then. And this is why even my score at the end is so positive, so hopeful. Because even if you're as old as I am, you can change. Yeah, you can change many things. You can give importance to the important things in life and that stuff. So that's the story, you know, behind what I did in my score. So now you know the story, why I went for this route precisely. And I suggest we start with the sound design, because I had questions in personal messages like, hey Martin, where did you come up with those sounds, like the train going away, the train braking and that stuff? You won't believe it. You know, I'm working on Logic Pro, and there is an incredible amount of sound design in there. So for example, footsteps, hard concrete run. You know, there you have the footsteps. Or if you hear, you search for train, then yeah, there are the train passing. A very, very long sample of a train passing, and I just used those samples that they have. And there's only the boy laughing. I went on Google, wave file boy laughing, and I downloaded it and placed it in here. Of course, it was a free sample. Yeah, it wasn't. And so I do have at the beginning, just to start with, just the stairs that you heard right away here. Because as I said, I wanted to start that music of mine precisely the moment I lived it the first time. Like, wow, this is an action scene. Something is about to happen. And on those stairs, I placed two effects. There's the black hole. And again, just to tell you, as I gave myself the goal to score this whole thing in one day, I wouldn't have been able to do this if I would have gone for all these beautiful, beautiful boutique libraries that I have. Like, wow, there's a violin doing this, I remember it, and then 1 hour just goes looking for that violin. And then there is whatsoever. I just went really with the libraries that I use on a daily basis, that I know, and this stuff. And the same goes for the effects. I really only use the effects that I knew. I place it and it sounds good. And most of the time, I really just, as the effect opened, I left that effect. So on the stairs, this would have been the stairs just out of the box. I thought it would have been too boring for the whole thing, which is really washed up in reverb, the voice of the narrator. So yeah, black hole and just an echo from Logic. And there are the stairs. Every time you see the guy, there are the stairs. Same thing if you run up the stairs. At least if I run up the stairs, I'm losing my breath. So there is this guy breathing. Another sample just here from Logic, and then here I did something. I said this already during the Zoom call that we had with our participants. Look at the project. Look at the project. Everything is just green. I didn't even color the tracks, because sometimes if you see my videos, the tracks are nicely colored and the whole project looks nice and this stuff. No, I just really went through it. And then on the breathing, I had the idea that his last breath, on the bench sitting when he calmed down, needed to be echoed. So same thing. I just, took this breathing sample, I cut it into pieces, I placed it just where I needed it. You see, it's not placed on markers or on bars or on beats. I really just worked quick and dirty on the picture. And then here Still the stairs. And then like this, just the moment he arrived up there. And here comes the train. What did I do with the train? So this is the sample train passing from logic. And this one, of course, is longer. But the moment the train passed, I just shortened it like this. I copied it in the track underneath, the very same sample. I shortened it to here. This one, I automated the volume. So this one just got blend out. The other one got blend in. So they crossfade and you don't really hear it. And as the train left to the left, so this one then, I panned it to the left, and on this one I placed black hole. So this is how I got this effect. Just only this piece. And if you play them together, then you really have this train passing by from being in the middle of the picture to vanishing to the left. Let me... Our mother, the one and only, yes, precisely. But yes, you only have one mother, but you only have one wife. You only have one son or two or three, but children. And I still have my father, and the relationship that I have now with my father was never as close as now. I really realized, wow. There aren't so many people at the end around you that are really important, so concentrate on those. This is my advice. So yeah, this was the train. Then yes, there was this one detail that I saw. There was this printer printing out the recipe for the book or whatever it is. So I just needed to have this printer panned it to the left, because in the picture you can see it on the left. And then later on there is the mom and the dad, and as I saw those, you can see it a little bit, you can see the mom and the dad, I thought they needed to say something. And as long as you have your mother, whenever she asks, are you good, do you eat enough, and all this stuff, it just breaks your nerves. The moment she's not there anymore, you would love to hear her ask, if you have eaten enough or whatever. I'm starting to cry. This is not good. So what I did here, there is this wonderful website called Voice Maker. There are dozens of voices that you can choose from, male, female, old, young, whatsoever. Let's just leave this one here. Then you write the phrase that you want, convert to speech.
Good evening, son.
Yeah, same thing. If I would like to change this to a male, you change it to a male, and there is your phrase. Okay. I reached the limit for the free plan. Okay, because before I was playing with it, you can do this for quite some time, and then you can download them for free. So this is where I got my voices from. Just if someone is interested, it's called voicemaker.in. And from there, I took those phrases. So the mom just asking,
will you be home for dinner?
If you will be home for dinner, black hole on it, panned to the left because she's slightly on the left on the picture. Then dad just asking,
hey son, how is your life going?
So my first phrase was just like, drive carefully, because yeah, my father knows me. So most of the time he's just telling me drive carefully. But here I just let him say then at the end, yeah, how is your life going? And then I have this boy laughing, because I think, or at least I hope, we all had a wonderful childhood, and that childhood even thanks to our parents. So I just, this is what have I done when he's asking. It's just like, wow, I had this amazingly good time growing up thanks to them. So yeah, we need to give something back. And then yes, there comes the train to a halt, just stopping. So there is the train stopping, or even not. Very long sample. You hear the train already before you can see it, and then it just stops. The braking noise, and then a noise of the doors that open. So this is everything I did sound design wise. I think it took me 1 hour. What I did precisely in my workflow, I started actually with that action scene, just as you could see it. I had this video how to get over writer's block, and I nearly left it like this. There I did it. I don't remember which library, but I just needed something there to have something in the project to work on. I need this. I need something in. So the very first thing I placed was just a loop like this. I think the very first one I had was from Symphonic Destruction. In this case, it's Novo from Heaviosity, so 99.9% of the libraries I used are all from Heaviosity because I know them. That's the only reason I know them. Spitfire would have done the same job. Project Sam would have done the same job. And in this case, it's Novo. There are these, how they call it, if you open up a Novo, Forzo, Vento, you know, there are the traditional instruments, the strings, the violas, the violins, that stuff, and then there's the evolved stuff, and there you do have a loop designer, which is pretty cool because you do have a trigger key triggering 3 different loops, and then you just choose what you would like to have in the low notes, in the middle. In the high notes, you do have the designer where you say, if I press this key with what I did in my case, I would like to have to play this and this and that. That's it. So I had this. And as you can see, I used one marker. I only used one marker. For me, one marker was enough because there was this action bit at the beginning that was quick and fast and was in A minor. And then there was the slow part, the melancholic part, and the only thing that I did on this one, really the only thing I did here, is the moment when the doors open. When you see there is no marker telling doors open. This was just me playing with it. So I just took a tempo that when the doors open, yeah, I have precisely one bar here. This is the only thing I did. So I could have my positive piano playing ending up precisely the moment the doors open. I go from the D minor, G minor to the B flat major, exactly the moment the doors open, but with one marker. Everything I did here was with one marker. And then what I did after I had the beginning and this where the train is missed, I just placed at the very beginning one low boom from Gravity. We will go through this, and then I just played through it. And this is a little how to tell you, now you really look behind the scenes. This is the first playthrough. This is something, you know, there was for me the pause, the silence here, and then I just started to noodle around with that theme here. Okay, I need to solo this and go to this one. D minor, A minor, then G minor. This is the melody, the theme that I was playing with. And I just noodled around with this theme. This is what I normally do to have something in the piano roll to work with. Really just badly played in whilst I watched the pictures to get something just into that project. That then you see even here, for example, there comes a time I just didn't have inspiration. I just didn't know how to continue whatsoever. So there I just left it, thinking about, okay, how to continue. Then I thought, okay, let's just continue with that theme. Just to show you, you know, my process. This is how I started to fill my project. And I had something in, you know, I had a starting point. And then, yes, I worked on that stuff. So let's take this from the beginning. We went through the sound design. As I said at the very beginning, I saw action, I saw hectic, I saw all this, which seems important to us in our life. So I have a clock. Obviously, you see a clock, you want to hear a clock. I know this is cliche, but that's the way it is. And I went, this is the only library that is not from Heaviosity, from Silence and Other Sounds, their mystery box. volume number 3, I think it was, which is just about ticks and clocks and clicks and whatso stuff. And what I did on the clock, I did 2 things on the clock. Let's listen to it and I will explain it. So 2 things. One thing is I went crazy with the penning. Left, right, left, right. You know, this is stress. This is hectic. This is running. And this penning from the left to the right just gets, at least to me, it made me nervous. This is one thing. The second thing that I did, the sound starts as dry as it is out of the box. But then on a bus, I placed vast, the convolution reverb from Heaviosity, and then as, you know, it's on 0. And then I just start to dial it in. So the clock gets even tickier. If this makes sense. You know, tickier. Is this a word? Do you say tickier? Hallo, Heißluftcoin, Jongleure. 100.000 gut abgedreht und anschließend noch einen Puls angehängt. Jetzt kannst du den PC kaufen. Jawohl! Exactly, Daniel. Yes, the Mac Studio probably is financed now thanks to Bitcoin. Yes, I sold them meanwhile. So yes, this was the clock. And I had more action things going on. So yes, Novo, we already heard this. Same thing, I used a loop from Symphonic Destruction because I really wanted to give everything here. It just needed to be big. So then a riser from the original Gravity, which lasts 6 bars, if I remember well. This one starts at the very beginning, then is time synced. Yeah, talking about time saving. If your library has a time sync function, then you can work quick. You place it at the beginning, you see precisely where it needs to end, you go into that feature, however it's called, you set here precisely the length of that sample. There we go. And out. That's it. But yeah, there are many libraries that have these sounds, but they're not time synced, so you're just dragging them to the left and to the right, and that's not quick. That's not quick. Then from Gravity, yes, I had this heartbeat. What I did here, I just played in the heart. Then I quantized it, and then I just draw in that velocity curve. Train missed, boom. Yeah. So even this, just, you know, play them in, quantize them, and then just draw the velocity curve. That's the quickest way that there is. Then from Gravity 2 at the beginning, another sound, just creating tension. I know I overdid it, but this is why the beginning at the end sounds so, yeah, overdonely hectic. And from Gravity 2, another riser. That's it. So the whole beginning, everything together sounds like this, and this was done in, I think, less than an hour. And then we do have a little bit of silence. And then there comes this melancholic part. Okay, it's telling me the chat is interrupted. It's trying to get it online again. We will see. This part where he is sitting on the bench, thinking, and if you went through a part in your life like this, you know, you really try to think and whatsoever, but your thoughts, they are just everywhere, and there is no chance to grab anything concrete. It's just, so I thought I will need a soundscape which a little bit reflects this, which is, you know, I know what I want, I know where I am, but I can't get my mind to anything. And I just went for the scoring acoustic guitars from Heaviosity. As in all their libraries, there are amazing soundscapes, but what I liked in here is that it's based on acoustic guitar samples, but some of them are forward, some of them are reverse. So it sounds like this. So you see, it's familiar, but at the very same time, it's not really what you would expect. So it's telling me the chat can't be connected. Sorry, I just will restart. I will restart this, and then I continued. Let's remain a little bit with these scoring guitars. What I did with those, just being here on D minor. So really just, you know, a soundscape. So there is something going on musical wise, but it's not getting in the way. Okay, give me a second. Sorry, give me a second, because this is really... Okay. Should be good now with the chat. You know, there are pictures, and the pictures are telling a story. There is a narrator telling a story, and I even made the characters speak. So the music should never ever get in the foreground. So this is why I kept it even so simple here. You know, there's these soundscapes from the scoring guitars. Now you heard what they did. Then I even used Vocalese 3, same story, just for the soundscapes. Because, you know, there is this lady standing, and I loved that distant female voice they're singing. Breath. Just a breathscape to underline, you know, how quiet it must be in that hall, that you even can hear the breathing. Then there is this sound when the narrator, why did I place it? What does the narrator say at this very moment? So be prepared, because the voice is very loud, and I left it like this. I didn't do anything.
Just someone who made the same mistake. But there's still time for you.
Exactly, the same mistake, but there's time. So this is why I placed this voice precisely here. So this is what we do have. Yeah, and then another soundscape that I brought in a little more dark is from Gravity 2. And it sounds like this. Doesn't like the space bar today. So this is at this part just the soundscape underneath, the basis of everything. Then one criteria was to use a free library. I went for the Foundations Piano from Heaviosity, which is for free. And when I first introduce the, let's call it melody, I'm doing this. What did I do here? I have two tracks. One is panned hard to the left, one is panned hard to the right. So you get this. Another thing that I did, I placed black hole just to have this immense reverb. But then I even placed shimmer on it. And on the high note, or let's start with the low note. On the low note, I do have the shimmer. I would like to show you this because there was some thought behind it. But on the low note, I have the shimmer going up an octave. I can switch this off so you can hear it, how it would sound without. And then if I switch it on again, you will hear it. You know, this shimmer going up. And on the high note, I did the precise opposite. I have the shimmer going, there it was, going down an octave. So those two notes at the end sound very similar due to the shimmer working against the note, if you will. So this is where I introduced the piano, and then yes, I'm starting my melody here. It's always the free piano, and I have, in this case, lots of effects on it. I have the shimmer on it, the obscene, to have it slightly distorted, and I do have even vast on it. And underneath that melody, I placed another piano library, the Allure, which is doing this. I'm just curious. As it's quite a while that I don't get messages in the chat, so I hope you are not writing and not thinking that I'm not answering to you. So Allure in this case is a preset with the dancers. So if you play, you see there is motion in it. There's a slight motion in it. This is what I wanted. And then even this maybe just for the sound design, just to show you how much you can do even with effects on a library. I have something in my throat. Sorry. So this is the piano out of the box. Then yes, I have the shimmer on it. Then I have obscene on it, which is a distortion. And then I put the vast on it, the convolution. It's called the darkest ever. Which is doing this to the sound. So this is here then I bring in the melody for the very first time. And then I change my piano library. I go to Ascend. Where I'm just doubling the highest note on the foundations piano. So only on that note. Now there is something happening only on that note, because you know it needed to stay anyhow in the background. There is enough story going on. It's not to overdo it. Then again, I bring in the dancers. So this is, you know, my simple melody, but recognizable. Ba 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 is something that you can hum, that you can sing, that you can whistle. And another thing that's going on when I start to get positive, you know, when he's telling, you know, there's always a chance and that stuff. Choir. So this choir is just a moving voice from Sonata. Slightly dissonant, perfect for this. And yes, I wanted really to emphasize, you know, I started to make my first short movies with a good friend of mine, and the very first movie that we made, and this one even was once rewarded. There are all the medals and that stuff up there. Back again, it was called VHS cassette, and with this movie, we had a challenge when I scored it together with him, like we will make the visitors cry in 3, 2, 1 now. And when we have been to all those festivals, we didn't watch the screen because we knew the screen. We were sitting like this, watching the audience, and we had the most fun when really someone started to cry at that moment that we programmed it. Him visual wise and me then music wise, and to have a very dramatic impact. The moment the doors opened, it's like, wah, you know, this in positive moment, because this was for me, you know, the moment where I knew I need to change some things in my life. And this is why my score ends positive, because we can change. And I just wanted to have this big moment here. I know it's a little too much, but I have this symbol going on, and again a hit from Gravity 1. And even this on Damage is so cool that on Damage you do have cymbal rolls and gong rolls and whatever. In this case I used a gong, and even those you can tell precisely, you know, how this, in this case it's 4 beats. This one is 4 beats longer, then you can anyhow time sync it and stretch it and this stuff. So if we switch on the metronome, it's precisely, let's switch off all the rest so we can concentrate on that one sound. We start one before, makes it even more interesting. Okay. 3, 4. If you don't have time synced libraries, it doesn't matter, from Heaviosity, from Project Sam, from whomsoever, do yourself a favor and get some. Those are the time savers if you're in a rush, if you need to get something out pretty quick. I mean, on this one I would have had 3 weeks, but I decided one day, this needs to be done in 1 day. Let's see if I can do it. The challenge to myself, I could. And another thing that we didn't talk about by now have been even the female, because human voice is very versatile, and this is a movie which is very human, so I thought there needed to be voice in it. This is why I went for the choir, for the vocal soundscapes, and then I even have just these phrases in B flat major here and in D major here, because, you know, they have keys where you can trigger them. And then, I mean, really only the choir, the boom and that stuff, and the piano. Just listen to this, which effect you can get. So positive with so few tracks. At at the end there isn't too much going on, and here I didn't went for the pure D major scale because anyhow, you want to have it positive, and you want, but there is still always, you know, this stinging pain there. So which, by the way, beautiful. Why did I go for Ascent? Maybe just, you know, my choices. This video is not sponsored by Heaviosity, by the way, even if it might sound like. Why did I go for Ascent? If you don't know Ascent, it's an amazing piano library. It's a big concert D sampled, but they went one step further. So I do have 3 layers here, and in this case I layered. I can switch them off just to show you quickly. There is this triple P, which is my main sound. So the good thing is, it doesn't matter how hard you play, it's anyhow a triple P sample. Then on the second layer I placed the under the piano microphone. They had a microphone under the piano, sounds like this. So both together. It's not too soft, but it's not as harsh as the piano would be normally. And then on the third one I went for a sound design layer, because they went with an E bow over the strings, or with twine and stuff like this. So there is this layer even in it. You know, just the strings moved by twine. So this piano sound alone is telling quite a story. Yeah, now the voice gets in our way, so we don't hear that twine, but I think you get the idea. And yeah, and this was at the very beginning what I had, and I think 6 or 7 hours in, but then I went through it again, and I found it too sterile, too empty still. And this is when I decided, okay, I need strings in this. Because there isn't any sad, melancholic stuff going on without strings. And in this case, I went, for example, I could have gone easily for Westwood, their Untamed series. I love their Untamed series. I could have gone for the older violin and the older viola. I could have gone for bunker samples, the Iremia series. Beautiful stuff, emotional stuff. But I needed to be quick. You know, I didn't have the time to go through one of those Westwood libraries like this one or that one on the velocity layers. You know, on every note you have 3 layers, 3 different samples. I wouldn't have made it in time. So I said, okay, it needs to be quick. So I just went for Intimate Textures by Heaviosity, because I know the library. It's even cool because you can purge all the articulations that you don't need. You get the same cool articulations, and this is what the solo violin is doing. Or the violins. Oh no, this is Intimate Textures. I even used Intimate Textures. This is violins. This is 4 violins. Now I remember. Now I remember, because I had everything with Intimate Textures, and then I wanted to have it intimater. Let's go to the chopper. More intimate, and this is then why I exchanged what I already had in the Intimate Textures with the solo textures. So now I do have, yes, a solo violin at the very end playing this note. And I love this library because you don't get sustain and staccato. No, you get those techniques, those phrases, this stuff that you simply can't program by MIDI, or you have samples doing it, or you don't get that effect. Then there is the viola and the violin exactly here at the end. I was looking for the viola because the viola is responsible for the wonderful ending. I love it. I just love it. I just love the techniques that they sampled. And you can see from the panning violins to the left, cello to the right, and the viola, I just left it in the middle. And then I did something with the cello. I already talked about it in the past. Now I will show you. If you go to the cello, in this case, but every library can, or most of the libraries can do this. They do have various articulations. In this case, I have minor arpeggios, minor tensions, major arpeggios, and a sordino pulse. And whilst I play my notes in the cello, I would like to show you this. I do have, exactly, there they are, my key switches. And I always take a very short note for a key switch. I always give it velocity 127 because then I have it bright red in my piano roll, so I can easily spot the key switches. And then now if you listen to the cello and if you look at the library, you can see I'm starting here on a sordino pulse. And I'm going to minor arpeggio, then there comes the minor tensions. So it sounds like there is a cello player doing something. If I would have stayed on the same articulation, sooner or later you would have spotted that it's only a sample repeating. In this case, it sounds way more interesting. So one thing that is very important, if you have phrases like this recorded, they might not end where you need them to end, or they would start another note, or they would do something that you wouldn't like here. So in this case, I just went for the volume because then there came a part that I didn't like. You know, I wanted the phrase to end precisely there, so I just blended out the volume so you couldn't hear the tail anymore that was baked in that sample. It just ended the phrase perfectly. Doo-doo out. And this is the human touch that I added. If you would like to listen to now those strings together, just with the soundscapes, how warm everything sounds now that there are even those strings going on. And even if you can see here, there is no mixing, there is no mastering. I really rendered out, I bounced that project. As you can see it here, there wasn't anything else. I did all the mixing already in here. This is why you can see, where can you see it? I mean the panning, yes, but there was, yeah, here for example. You see there was just the sounds on different volumes. On some of the sounds I worked with the volume here in the piano roll, and some of the libraries I really worked quick and dirty on the volume in my contact libraries, because the voice is really loud on this one, but I wanted to have the voice in the foreground, absolutely in the foreground. The voice should have told the story, and here we are. I think I told you everything. How I did it, why I did it. I went through the various libraries, the choices. Now we can listen to it again with the pictures big.
Hello? Is anyone there?
You missed it. Once again.
Who are you?
Just someone who made the same mistake. But there's still time for you.
Will you be home for dinner?
Hey son, how was your life going?
What did I miss?
There's always a last train. The only question is whether you get on.
And look at this. My peak. Ah, no, you can't see. You can't see because there is me. That's a pity. My peak is precisely by 0 dB. You know, there wasn't one thing going up higher than 0 dB. And another thing that I did, for example, there is this silence here where he's telling, what did I do? Just to show you a little bit how I played with those phrases.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Exactly, is anyone there? And when he finishes that phrases, then I come in with the cello note, not before, not afterwards.
There.
So I'm filling in the silence.
You missed it. Once again.
Who are you?
Just someone who made the same mistake. But there's still time for you.
Will you be home for dinner?
Like here,
how was your
I
life
do
going?
have the cello playing. But as for me, this phrase was so important.
There's always a...
Is anyone there?
Anyone there? Silence. The cello starts. Then the old man is talking again.
You missed it. Once again.
Who are you?
Just someone who made the same mistake. But there's still
So
time
when he's
for
saying
you.
the same mistake, you see there is a pause. I didn't have a note here because to me that phrase was important. Again, this was a competition, this was a fun project, this was our interpretation. This is what I would have done, and then there would have been anyhow the director telling me, do less. This is what you always get to hear, do less. And yeah, I think that's it. I think I am through with what I wanted to show you. What I did with the score, you know, the instruments I used, how I used them, why I used them, how I panned things, the external effects that I used, the artistic choices and that stuff. And I hope it was useful to some of you. I really hope, you know, these things. Can I switch back here? Yes, I can. You know, show you something, because we had so many amazing entries even this time, and it was really hard judging. It was, I mean, fortunately, there have been only, if I remember well, 14 or 15 entries. So yes, I remember one competition that I did with Chris. We had, I remember, 40 entries, if I remember well, or the one with Marika. And then, you know, then it's even harder to choose, wow, who did the best job from his point of view even. I don't know if this makes sense, because we didn't give you any director's note. We didn't give you any directions. We just told you this is the story. Do whatever you interpreted in this one. So even we know how hard it is. And it's not that mine is right, or the one from Andreas, which even is amazing, is right, and others have been wrong. This is just what I did. And I just wanted to tell you my story and why I did what I did. And why I even tried to keep it with a melody that you might remember, but at the same time being in the background, really being in the background, letting the story tell its story, and just underline it a little bit and drive a little bit the emotions, like the moment where I said I would like to have people cry in 3, 2, 1, where here the gong and the hit, precisely the moment the door opens. They wouldn't have been necessary, absolutely. But this was just a fun thing that I placed there, like, whoa, let's really go to the secrets of driving emotions. And I think that's it. From my side, I think that's it. Unfortunately, Steph was the last one writing, no, we are listening. So I really hope there haven't been other messages that I didn't respond to. I just started again just to be sure I didn't miss anything, because as I said, I preferred to do this as a live stream for the simple fact that then we can discuss, we can talk, and this stuff. Oh wow, now it's even getting worse. I don't know why today it's putting all this stuff in here, which I can blend out the chat, but I can't blend out the stuff on top of it. That's pretty funny. Let's see. No, okay. It looks like there haven't been other messages. That's good then. In this case, so I didn't miss any message. And as I said at the very beginning, stay tuned, because tomorrow there will be our invitation video from Chris, used it from Implied Music, which we had in the chat, and from myself, inviting you all to participate in our annual Christmas holiday challenge. It's a fun project. There will be prizes. I mean, it's Christmas, so we will be handing out prizes that we got sponsored on a wheel of names. As always, this will be just fun, the wheel of names, and then we just draw random names to hand out the gifts, the giveaways. And it's a fun project. You will see tomorrow. I'm excited about it. I already know what I will be doing for this. And I think that's it from my side for today. Thanks to everyone who joined the stream, the chat. Always a pleasure. And make good music always. See you in the next video or in the next live stream. That's it from my side for today. Bye bye. And I will stop.